Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm just here really for a little bit of an add-on, I suppose, to our mass making videos that we're doing. So this would be a sort of mass prep type video, I suppose. So what I've got here is I've got this book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. This one here is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, Children Are From Heaven. So this is like further on from the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus book. It's actually quite an interesting book, funnily enough, but that's not, you know, why I've brought it along. I've brought it along because if I just show you, I mean, obviously you can see I've torn pages out and what have you already. This book has got tons of very positive, lovely words. In fact, I'm just going to tear this page out as well. Tons of very positive, lovely words in it. I mean, obviously it's got some horrible words in it as well. But it, you know, because it's a lot about positive parenting and things like that. So there's a lot of really good words to be able to use in your journals. I'm just going to put my tea up on the desk. So there's a lot of really good positive words to use in your journals. So I have just torn out, you know, a handful of pages basically that have got some nice words, and I'm just going to put the book back on the floor to save for another time. And then what I've got here are just some teeny weeny scraps, as you can see. I mean, they really are literally tiny scraps. I've also bought a scrap along in this colour. I don't know whether I'm going to use it or not. I've got some of this handmade paper, this, I think it's called mulberry paper, as well, for just in case. And then all I'm going to do is prep words ready to use in my projects. So for instance, this, I don't know whether this would be considered a fly sheet. Obviously this is like the dedication from the book. So I'm going to first of all cut this down. I'm going to save this piece because we can use this in our projects for either backs of tags or little flippy pads, things like that. So I'm going to keep that. Again, this is again another quite good size piece for flippy pads, so I'm going to cut that down and keep that piece as well. I mean, this really is a kind of waste not, want not process, really. And then in the dedication, you've got lots of lovely words here. So you've got kind of greatest, you've got love, affection, love, joy, graced my life, you know, kind of lots of wisdom, insight, lots of really nice words just in this little teeny weeny paragraph. So all I'm going to do is cut down some of the words and prep them for future projects. So if I just cut down here, and I'm just going to cut along kind of the entire length of the sentences, and then I will cut out the individual words that I actually want to use. There we go. So here we've got joy, so I'm going to cut that one out here and keep that to the side. We've got love. And it's quite nice because this is in italics, which, you know, italics is really nice, isn't it? So, got wisdom. I'll cut that one down. Where was the other one? Let's have a look. Right, don't need that one. That didn't have lovely words on there. So, greatest love. I will cut that then as an entire piece there. We could have dedicated, you know, that's another sort of positive nice word to use. And then here we've got affection, so again we'll just cut that down like that. So we've got quite a few words already. I'm just going to now bin those little scraps of rubbish. So on this page here, I've got the word magic, and as you can see, I mean, this is in capitals, which again, it's quite nice to have a mixture of you know, fonts and styles, I think. So just going to cut that word out. There we go. And then just scan the page and see what else you can see that is a nice word. So successful we've got here. So we can cut that one out. Like that. And I mean, to be honest, this book, I don't know what the publication date of this book is, but I mean, it's been around for quite a long time. So obviously you'd be able to probably pick one of these up from a charity shop or, you know, online pretty cheaply. And I'm not saying that this is the best book. Of course, there's lots of books that are going to contain lots of, you know, nice words to use. This was just one that I happened to manage to pick up and thought, oh, that's an ideal, you know, book with lots of really nice words. So just kind of having a look through here, seeing what other words I might have here. Just having a look. So we've got the word nurturing. That's quite a nice word, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean, of course, I'm not saying that this is, you know, the book to use. It's just that this was a book that I happened to stumble across, and I thought, oh, I mean, here there's the word fun on the back of there, so we'll just cut that one out. I just thought, oh, you know, that's got lots of really nice words that we can use. So just now turn the page over, see what's on the reverse. Just gonna have a sip of my tea while I'm scanning. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'll get rid of that page. Just now pick up this page, see if there's anything good on here. So we've got the word kind on here. Just having a look. I know this is a bit like probably watching paint dry, to be perfectly honest, but I'm just trying to, yeah, share some ideas really of some other things that you can prep ahead to use for your projects. So I'm going to check the reverse of this. Oh, we've got the word wonderful there. And we've got the word love right beside it, so cut the word love. There we go. And then we've got the word wonderful there. What else did we have in here? Love again. Should we have love again? Might as well, mightn't we? There we go. I mean, I just thought this, yeah, was another thing that you could do ahead of time, and obviously it's a good way to use up teeny weeny scraps that you might have laying around. So just check that I've terrific. Could have that. That's a word that, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really use the word terrific very often, but it's a nice word actually. I don't know why I don't use that. I think it feels a bit old-fashioned. Don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why that feels old-fashioned to me. It feels a bit 70s. Don't ask me why that would be. I don't know how a word can sound 70s, but, well, not a word like terrific anyway, but, right. Okay, So I'm going to now just bin these pieces, and I will just put the other pages down to the side for later. And then all I'm going to do is obviously take all of these. Got my little scraps of card here. And then, oops, we're going to just glue these on to these pieces. So I'm going to lay out a few that I can have on here. Come on. Like that. Now, of course, you could put them closer together. I'm not going to, because I'm not like delicate enough, you know, to not then be cutting into the next words. So I'm just going to pop them like that. But of course, you know, you could pop them much closer together. Like that. And to be honest, this is probably where a glue stick or something would be pretty handy. Oops. There we go. I mean, you can use any words really. Obviously, if you've got some, you know, like gardening books or bird books, things like that, they're going to have nice words to do with nature. So that would be another little make ahead prep task that you could do, using kind of nature and, you know, florally type words. Right, so I'm going to pop those to one side. I might just pop some onto here. I just thought this was quite nice, and as you can tell, I obviously had a scrap here laying around, so might as well use that. And again, I mean, for me, I find these pretty fiddly to handle, so it's quite nice to do all my handling of them whilst they're in such a tiny state, all in one go, because once they're obviously stuck onto the paper, they're going to become a little bit bigger by the time I cut them out. So I'm going to just cut this word kind down, because I left obviously a lot of edge to that one for some reason. Okay, so again, I'm just going to glue these down. Oops. Actually, I know that this handmade paper, this mulberry paper, oh gosh, did you see what I've done there? It's not that easy to handle. It likes to be torn, really. Right, so this is why for me this is, see, this is why for me this is quite a good task to do ahead, because I do find this quite fiddly to do. So things like this for me, they would really hold up a project. If I was, say, making a tag, and then I have to rifle through the book first to find a nice word. I then have to cut the word out, you know, find the word, cut the word out, handle it like this in this teeny weeny form, find some sort of scrap of paper or something to maybe back it onto. That's all going to eat into my time and, you know, delay the journal making process, I guess. So having things like this just ready to grab, I think is a good time saver. Okay, so I'm going to just pop those to one side. I'm not sure whether to actually put them onto this darker paper. Well, let's try some. I mean, it is just a little scrap that I've got there, so let's have that 70s word, terrific. I don't know where that came from, why I think that that's 70s, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe the word reminds me of, you know, like a man's name Terry, which to me sounds quite 70s. I don't know. I hope I haven't insulted anybody there who maybe has a husband or a son called Terry, or even a man who is called Terry. I mean, I think Terry for a lady, that's kind of more modern, isn't it? Terry for a man. I don't think I've heard of anyone called Terry for a while, but that might just be me. So I apologise if I've offended anybody there. But names come and go, don't they? I mean, I think I've said this before, but oops. You know, the old-fashioned names are kind of coming back round again, aren't they? Well, again, I don't know whether that's just here actually, or whether that's everywhere in the world. But there's lots of things like Alfie and oh, what else? Alfie, Betty, things like that. You know, kind of going around again, and yet previously they were considered very old-fashioned names, weren't they? But they're really quite pretty, or, you know, nice names now. So I think they just obviously go in trends, don't they? And then got that one last love. Just pop that to the side. Oh, I'm just going to put love on this little piece here, I think. Okay. Oops. Well, I will do if it's not stuck on my finger. Right, there we go. So that's those. And then what I'm going to do is obviously take my vintage photo, and I'll just distress them all a little bit whilst they're all together, just because that's, you know, nice time saving way to do it. I'll do these. Oops. That went better than I expected, because I thought perhaps the glue would still be wet and I would have ended up peeling them off somehow. So that's those. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. And then what you can do, I've got my little decal, is it called decal edge scissors? I mean, mine are just children's ones, but they work fine. Oops. Like that. Cut around there. And again, then just, you can ink up for a little bit more impact around the edge of there, and then you've got that ready for your projects. And you could also tear them, so I'm just going to try tearing this one. Like that. I mean, I do love things torn. I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea, but you know, I do really like the torn kind of effect. So for me, I probably do prefer it torn. So I might just tear the rest. Like that. And again, I mean, obviously you don't have to be worrying about, you know, is it straight or is it, I don't know, you know, they don't have to be perfect. The more scrappy, I think, the better. So like that. And then I'll tear these couple now. And as you can see, that one I actually tore right next to the word there. But again, I think it still looks fine. So just tear around there. And then we've got the final one here. Just tear that down. I mean, I think really I'm trying to get on top of my craft area, so as I can craft easier and in a more, you know, time-saving style. So anything really that helps with that, any sort of forward prep is all good, I think. So there we go. Love them on this mulberry paper, which is weird because that was the one that I very nearly didn't do. But oh, don't they look lovely on there? Because that actually has a bit of a sort of almost like a fabric effect to it. So I mean, again, I'm just kind of inking around there, but it doesn't probably need it, to be honest. Isn't that lovely? So I'm just going to tear all of these down and then I'll ink them all. So that's that one. That one. Yeah, so I mean, obviously if you've got a gardening type book or anything like that, or another book that would be quite good is like a dictionary, because obviously then you've got a whole array of words in all different themes. I mean, a dictionary, I guess the only thing is they would all be the same style and font and what have you. Whereas if it's a sort of information book, you're going to have different styles, whether it's like maybe a title and things like that. So you've got a bit more scope then for different fonts and things like that. But, you know, a dictionary would be perfectly fine. There we go. Oh, really love these on this mulberry paper. I can't believe how nice they look. Just gorgeous, really gorgeous. There we go. And then obviously we've got these dark ones. So again, just going to tear those down for a moment. Just finish my tea, hold on. It's a little bit cold then. I mean, I love cups of tea, but oh, cold tea, it's not so good, is it? Okay. So, and again, you can obviously just ink around that a bit more. You can see, I mean, I've made a bit of a mess of that one because I've gone very close to the edge of the word, but I mean, it really doesn't matter too much, to be honest. So there we go. I mean, you've just got then a variety, haven't you? If you've put some on some darker backgrounds. Again, I mean, I've just used scraps that I happen to have laying around. So it just happened that I had this darker shade and I thought, well, that's another sort of potential background for the words. So there we go. I'm just quickly tearing them all so that I can ink them all up like that. I mean, magazines, they'd be another source of little words really. So you can get them in a multitude of places, obviously. If you wanted, you could glossy accent your words or something like that, just for another bit of a change. So that's those ones. Oops. So I've got quite a few there. I'm just going to check what time I'm up to. Oh, I can't actually see. 24 minutes, I think. So I'm just going to experiment with something, and I mean, I don't know what this is going to look like. It might look, you know, absolutely terrible. But, sorry, I'm just rummaging in my drawer for my little stamp. Oh, look, I forgot this little lonely love there. It's just left on its own. I'll just tear that one out. Oops. Just ink that. There we go. So yes, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I just thought what you could also do is stamp a little bit on the back. Now I've got this teeny weeny postcard stamp, which obviously is quite nice because it's very tiny text. So I'm just wondering, you know, if I stamp the whole way down here, which actually I might have to do some this way round, like that. Okay, and then just pop the lid on the ink again. Right, you'll have to excuse me because I'm going to have to cut another couple of words out now, so sorry about this. Let's have a look and see. So we've got the word loving. Okay. We'll just do perhaps 4 words or something. So, hold on. Nurture. That's 2. Just get 2 more. Come on. I mean, you guys, if you're watching this, I know this is just like watching paint dry. You probably can see a word from a mile off and think, what's wrong with that woman? Why can't she see that word? But sometimes when you're right in front of something, it's actually harder to see, isn't it? And obviously when you're doing a video, you're a little bit, what's the word? Right, hold on. It's got here expectation. Should we put that in? That's quite a long word, actually. I might not put that. Well, I guess I could, actually. It would just probably take up that whole section there, but that's fine. So, right. Pop that to one side now. Trim this down. Okay. Oh, it's not as big as I thought, actually. Okay. So probably we can still have it up here. These words are tinier than you think, obviously. There we go. So there's one. Then we've got inspires. Pop that there. Oops, nurture. Just pop that. Actually, I might pop it here. And then we'll just do the loving thing next to that. So there we go. Okay. Just going to dab off any excess glue. Okay, and then I'm just going to ink this slightly. I mean, this is just for a time-saving thing, really. And then you can tear your word. I mean, again, I just like the look of you know, torn paper. You may prefer it cut, you know, looking a little bit neater. Completely and utterly up to you. There we go. Well, I quite like it with the scripty background, actually, so let's just do this one. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you're managing to get some crafting done. I mean, this obviously not brain science really, and not anything particularly interesting, but I just thought it linked in really nicely with our mass making, because obviously it's more make ahead pieces. And actually, this is the type of thing you could just do in front of the TV, because all you really need are your little scraps, a book that you have chosen to take your little words from, some glue and your ink. I mean scissors, if you need scissors to cut the words out. Well, of course you probably need scissors to cut the words out, but you know what I mean. It's very minimal things that you're going to need for this, so it's just ideal as a TV craft. Okay. Okay, so let me get rid of my rubbish, and then I'm going to pull in what would effectively be a journal page. So let's just pull in this envelope. I can show you then how they will look on there. Aren't they cute? And actually, I quite like the dark ones, funnily enough now. I wasn't too sure at first, but if you see there how they look against the coffee dyed paper on the background, they're actually quite nice, aren't they, for a bit of a contrast. So let me just lift them up. They look quite good, don't they? So then you could just keep them obviously in a little jar or a little pot or something like that, so that you can just grab them in to do any projects really. So I mean, again, I know not particularly the most, you know, revelationary video or anything, but just to go along with our mass making, I just thought another really ideal thing that you can just prep ahead. So hope that you managed to get some done, and thanks very much for joining me. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.